Good morning. So it's gonna be a little different. I haven't really done this before, but I'm just gonna record kind of what we do in the morning. We only got about 7 minutes here, so I'll be aware of that. But normally we're gonna start with the futures just to see what they're looking like. So when we go to the 60 SPY, you can see it's a poke down and reclaim. So it's trying to go outside bar to start the morning. Um, your broadening formation at this point, right to left, it's gonna look something like this. So the question is, do we continue through that try, or do we try and expand that try lower? We are still nowhere near taking this stuff out. I believe SPY is going to open as a 2 up in red day at this point. We also have the new monthly open. So you're not going to see it on here in this continuity. Let's go here, time frame continuity. You're going to see a 3-2 up in red week on the ES futures. So we'd prefer actually what? Triangle they out, stop them out, and then give us outside week 3-3. So we'll see if that's going to be the case, but we got the 60-day week and month in our favor if we're trading lower today. So we have full time frame continuity. It's the first day of the month. So the month week opens are the same, and the day and week and month opens are the same. So we have less evidence today, and tomorrow when we decouple, we're going to have more evidence. That being said, the same type of thing is happening in the NASDAQ futures. You can see 2 up in red, and it does technically have full time frame continuity on that. Trying to rev strat today, but we're going to have to stop them out, triangle they out, and then we'll see. And it's a little stronger than the NASDAQ as they did not take the morning lows out. So if anything's recovering, it'd be in the tech. And if you go to the Dow Jones, Dow Jones is still inside. If you go to the Russell or the IDBM is still inside. And when we go and check the SPY, SPY is going to open 3-1, which means we'll open as a 2-2 reversal 60 from recent highs. You can see slight higher high, and we have equal lows below. So 2260 below this on SPY. We look to come and try and take these guys out down here for the broadening formation if it stays down. Since it's the very beginning of the month, we can let them open and be patient. Dow Jones will have the inside day at the open. IDBM as the inside day, potential inside up or down. So we got actionable signal, IDBM, and Qs on the daily. Question is, are they breaking up or down to start the week, start the month? This being said, we like to take a look at the gaps, especially in the beginning of the month. So we'll see Unity. If things are going up, Unity, you can see they sold it Friday all throughout last week, and then boom, 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 boom. They're taking them all out this morning. What could that create negator do? It would only cause a 2-2 month, and therefore it's got a small magnitude with some pivot machine gun that could take out 1856 for the small account guys and gals. If you go to AAOI, it's going to be opening as a 3-2-2 month with PMG, pivot, 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 try and come back through. So what I'd normally do is go on the gappers list, and I put gap up, and then we got Unity, day PMG, and we got AAOI, month PMG. I'm just going to give a little bit of additional information on that gap list. Then SHLS, it's going to be kicking pattern on the month. We'll see. Go to MSOS. It's going to open as a slight gap update into recent highs. So this would actually be preferred as a gap sell, given the broadening formation looks like this. Does not mean it has to sell, but if it were to start coming back in, we'd go after that. On the upside, you do have this bigger daily try. They've just been too weak to take these highs out recently, so we don't have much evidence on that side of things. Boeing is going to be gapping down. Looks like inside week down. It's going to open with full time from continuity. And it's trying to go outside quarter, so there is that. We will have to let that open as it's opening into lows on the week. You'll see on the day it's opening into recent lows, so we'll see. But we'd prefer Boeing to actually take this out, 162.56. I'll just mention that it has a weekly signal. If we go to CCL, which is cruise lines, little bit of a shooter week. It's going to open inside month though, so I'd rather let that open. Nvidia is going to be inside day down, and for some reason we got some weekly problems on TradingView again. That's just so frustrating. So Monday through Friday last week, so it looks like they did go outside week, right? And then this would be 3-2 week down with inside day down Nvidia. something we will keep on the radar in the chips. We got MU. MU is also closer to continuing down after all the stuff we shorted back in here, so that's good. If we go to TSM, you see this would be opening pivot machine gun day inside 2-2 reversal to come back through these guys. So right off the open, we could go something like that. I believe that'd just be trying to cause inside weekend down. Let's see, Monday. Yeah, so this is all last week's range. So it's actually 2 down in green week, which this would go 2 down continuation again. So PMG and TSM right off the open go CLSK, crypto, and what the man, these charts are just so frustrating to look at when TradingView just has no idea what's going on. There we go. But Rub Strat last week, 2-2 on a Thursday or Friday last week, and they're just confirming that. If you go to X, Harris calling for U.S. Steel to remain U.S. owned. You know, maybe that's a smart thing. That might be the first smart thing I've heard from her. That being said, though, it's reclaiming all this stuff. It's probably going to open as a 3-2 down on the month. So, you know, it might not be smart for the stock price, but we will see below this on the month. That'd be 3-2 down, 36.49. Just knocked my mic out of the way. And if that were to reclaim, we could go for it the other way as well. If we go to Pfizer, like Pfizer gapping on Lyme's disease data, you're gonna have kicking day Pfizer. Nice. And let me make sure the chat knows that. We're gonna open up very shortly here, but kicking day on Pfizer. So the second that goes red, we can actually go and be short that right then and there. And I'm actually just a little late. This is what normally is happening during the live streams in the morning. You can see right away, right off the open, we wanted to be short that, and we're missing that right now. And that day just caused the inside week down, so it actually has more evidence now that it has gone. Like the options markets are not open yet in there, so might be a one where we need the oneer to get in on that type of stuff, either continuation or ideally a signal. We go to the SPY. It does open as kicking 60, but green, so they're trying to buy the open initially, but these guys are still all underwater. So if that were to flip red, that's a short. Same with the Dow Jones, except Dow Jones with the industrials is a good bit stronger than the rest. Tells us DE and CAT, which we don't see much going on there. So Pfizer, you can see, goes inside oneer. We'll see if that sets up to confirm and negate. AAOI goes into first monthly pivot, short-term exhaustion. If we go to U, Unity is going to open as slight red to green day, so you can see here. Right when that goes red to green, that can be a buy right there to cause the PMG on the day that we were talking about. So red to green right there, and then if it gets going, you'll take all those guys out. 1856. SHLS, 2-2 on the gap up. So monthly goes kicking, but it goes red to start. And if we're going to get longs, it'd reverse back up. Boeing, green to red move on its gap down, goes inside week down in force. And that's where I'd look at like a 166, 165 put. And when you get a green to red move, what it tells you is that anyone that just tried to buy the open, they become a loser right there, 167.05. So if it were to stay red, it's going to look like a problem for those guys. It does go inside one down, 2-1-2 continuation on the twos, but it's reversing that initial buy in the morning. So right there, and then stop is here, 167.19. And screw me, they could not fill my contracts in here. This is a little frustrating. Cancel my order, but I guess that's just how it happens sometimes. I tried to hit a limit that was slightly above the bid or above the offer there, and they just would not take it. Spy green to red move puts the kicking pattern 60 in force back the previous range, so still inside day at the open, but it is happening. Q's closer to going inside day down, also at that kicking 60 in force. So you see the kicking 60 sets up to try and get the day inside down in force in the Q's. You see Boeing right there off the green to red move drops $2, and sometimes you just don't get filled. It's a damn shame. Nvidia is getting killed 3-2 down on the week, bright red to start the day. So you can see just continuing at this point, and that's a good thing if you got Pfizer. Pfizer did go red to green move, so you can see the first oneer they sold inside oneer, then back up, which is why we wait for that signal. So this would have been a long if we were there to catch it. And then that causes the 223 minute to try and reclaim this morning range up in here. So that Pfizer could go up into 29, 20s today. We'll see for that outside day after the 2-2 hits magnitude. But you can see Boeing, this is why we look for the green to red, although we did miss the fill. You can see 2 up in red. When it goes green to red, it creates the shooter, which goes momentum shooter down, and then you're in a winning position. So if it were to go like on the oneer, let's say 2-2 reversal, we reduce it by a half, and then our cost basis should be somewhere around morning high, so we can hold that position. AAOI, you can see on that red to green move, or on that monthly, I mean. 3-2 up PMG, so it did take magnitude, but now it's the green still above that. So 1304 and then maybe 1469 we will see, and that's where we'd like to wait for a setup to form for us. If we go to Unity, the Unity on the red to green move did go and make the new high, you can see. Now we'll have to see 5 minutes going to open inside bar. SPY closer going 2 down fiver, which would give control back to the sellers after a slight triangle layout. Q's closer doing that as well to confirm the 60 and give us the inside day down. See second fiver of the day, Q's, they come back and continue to sell, which gives you a little more evidence. It is continuation though, so entering on continuations is not what we look to do, but you can if you miss certain things like that kicking 60. When this continuation occurs, what it tells you is this: that 60 group that's selling is still in control, right? So it confirms control, and then using a continuation, we want to trigger pivots like this, right? So we can take all these guys out in one go. We'll take out 467.89 pivot machine gun, and at this point, if we go inside day down, that'd be the first signal to cause that. So we'll see. NVIDIA is going to be much weaker than the Qs because it's already going down. So NVIDIA is the ideal short. We just don't have any signals in here. And the slight triangle out oneer, and that's about it. And then TSM, you'll see the inside day PMG, boom, takes them all out. BA firms up going inside 5, so this is where we'd first reduce, and then we can have a stop in profit. Or technically, there's this rev strat oneer in here if you're looking to get entries, which I could use that, but I don't like to enter on continuation personally. X on the gap down stays inside 5 with a 3-2 down month in force, so that could go continuation and confirm that 3-2 month, causing more issues there. AAOI inside 5 setting up at the gap list. SHLS 2 up 2 down fiver to start the day, causing us to reclaim last month's highs, potential 3-month. So Q's still too strong to take yesterday's lows at this point. They did go 2 down, but then 2 up oneer. First 2 up oneer of the day. Q's above yesterday's lows. You can see on the NASDAQ, So Q's too strong or too weak of seller or buyers to take the new highs, too weak of sellers to make the new lows at this point. Um, and you can see when that lower wick starts forming, that's initial buyer exhaustion. Doesn't mean it has to be the case. Your try looks like this. So for now, they are still outside of it, which gives more credence to sellers on Qs, but they firm up. You can see on a 5-minute basis, they're still 2 down, so no reversals up or anything. SPY still hitting the morning lows, so kicking pattern 60 on the SPY here. Goes to magnitude, green to red move to get that, and they go down here. And now, winning position, do they go and take these guys out, causing a 3-2 reversal day today, which would be, like, pretty big issue there. And then IWM closer to going or setting up 225ers or maybe a momentum shooter 15 to take out inside day down pivot machine gun IWM. And this is one of the weaker ones because it did not make any new highs on the week. So NVIDIA going for initial triangle day out of the day. And what we're looking for is the broadening formation. So we want to see them make slight higher highs and then give us signals back to the downside. So AAOI blows out its monthly side and is still inside 5 or closer to breaking lower on the next 5 minute in a minute here. Unity inside 5 on the gap up as well. And X inside 5 as well. Boeing still, you can see, getting murdered. So big winning position there, and I just could not get filled. And I did try and get the fills in there, it just did not let me. You see Qs, it goes like on a 2-minute basis, inside 2-minute back down. So they're still staying down there on a 5-minute in red. So that's fine to be short. SPY still fine to be short as well there. The Dow, not quite like the rest, but green to red on the 60. So it puts the 60 in force. But this big wick gave those 60 guys a chance to cover, or not cover, but exit their long positions. So not going to have as much losing going on in here as something like the Qs, and specifically things like NVIDIA within the Qs, where it's taken last week's lows and yesterday's lows. So you see NVIDIA goes inside 2-minute after slight corrective activity. If we were to be trying to get short on continuation, it'd be this. Personally, I don't like doing that, but inside down right there for anyone to create it. And you can see instantly, boom, you hit the bid and it goes. And then low a day, and this is where you'd have to, 23 cents lower, you have to protect that position with a stop either at your entry or taking partials should it come back in against you. But good examples of signals going instantly right there. And Qs, you can see the inside 2-minute down goes to low a day. So still confirming the 5-minute for control. 2 down, 2 down, 2 down to start the day with a 60 kicking pattern to cause the daily inside down. 470.52 is that daily signal Qs. Boeing, you can see just still cratering into the lows. You got the momentum, everything off the green to red move. Pfizer, they're getting kind of stuck in that morning range. You see the 10-minute, how you getting out of that? NVIDIA still cratering, as you can see. So you can see, when we talk about signals, specifically the inside bar, all we're looking for is the equilibrium. When it breaks this, the seller that we identified in the morning here, with relative weakness to the Qs, comes in and they continue to hit the bid, which causes anyone who stops at low a day to get taken out. And then when that occurs, you can see wham, right through the lows. And as long as it stays below that, you can hold positions, right? But if it were to come back above that, you just have to cover it right away, which is why I prefer to enter after we triangle out more so, because we have the bigger range to come back through, and it's more ideal in that sense. Qs, inside day breaks down on a Monday. We are still coupled. The day, week, month opens, and initially it does not stay in force right away. So it did break, but that's also going to be on the 60-minute. Short-term exhaustion going into recent lows. Since the 60 is still red to start the morning, we actually expect this seller to win out. Doesn't mean that they have to, but if they were to start pulling it back in, the 60 is nowhere near reversing at this point. So we'd prefer just maybe triangle some of these guys out and then bring it back in, slam the lows again, take out the rest of these pivots in here. And we can just stay short at that point. SPY was 60 magnitude. It's still, nowhere near a 2-down day, but it's back through a 3. So still has reason to believe that's going lower. And IWM still an inside day. So really just some of the tech being relatively weak and a little bit of SPY. On the Dow Jones, still relatively strong. So that's where we'd go if we're going to buy anything. And since we're starting the new month here, in scan, we go monthly in force. So it looks like we got some real estate. We got one industrial, Copart, or CPRT. So you can see industrials, this is where the buying is occurring. CPRT goes 2 up day, 2 up continuation week, and 3-2 month, giving it a magnitude to go and take this stuff out up in here. So that's the first 60 of the day. We will let it decouple and see what they set up, because it still's got, a couple bucks of magnitude to go after. So we don't have to be that first one in if we don't want to be. It's like Qs and SPY after previous lows of day, they do firm up a bit. So those Qs, slight firm back up. No reversal fiber yet, but takes out yesterday's lows and reclaims. So if it were to turn into a rev strat day, it'd look like that first. We still just, nowhere near taking that daily magnitude or daily continuity yet to negate. So how are you going to negate the daily move here? It's going to be a little difficult. Boeing goes inside down again on the 1 minute. So they're just still cratering off the green to red. And it's so sad to see that we did not get the short. Goes right exactly to where we said it should go, right there, 162.50. So ideal scenario is this. And like we said, exactly how we would do that. I try to do it. So you go on the oneer in here. We have that really tight stop on the oneer. So we're using that high, that 1 minute as our stop. So now that we've hit this target, reduce by half, right? That's our target, or just hold break even. Depends on the type of trader you are. At this point, I'd want to reduce by half. And then at that point, my cost basis goes from, being my break even at here, reduced by half, break even goes to here. So we can put a stop either at the highs or just, slightly above where we entered or where we entered and guarantee a profit. And then we can then see, do they continue? And what's the rest of the market trying to do now? So Qs is still firming up a bit after yesterday's lows. So if it's going to turn into a rev strat, it's going to look like that first, right? And the 5 minutes going to set up the hammer after exhaustion. And that lower wick on the 5 minute, what it tells you is potentially buyer exhaustion. Does not mean it has to be true if it does not go in force, though, which is why we want to know, does that reverse or does that keep continuing? So far, it opens inside fiver. And everything else inside day at this point. So we want to stick on things full time from continuity with directional bars on the daily, which would be things like NVIDIA and things like Boeing. Bright red to start the day. You get a TSM, you can see whomp, takes them all out, pivot machine gun as well. This is why I need an assistant, because it makes it a lot easier if we could just do this analysis and get them doing the execution. But you can see pivot machine gun, just like we said, boom, takes them all out. What does that cause on the week? Well, if TradingView had its head together, we would know. So on the week, it just causes 2 to the downside continuation, which isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing for shorts. And then on the weekly 2-week basis, you're going to see the 2-2-2. So the magnitude gets a lot bigger. When you have these really big distances to cover, doesn't mean it can't work, but you have to be aware at the monthly. Oh my gosh. So the monthly on TSM, when we look at it, last week's lows, or the weekly lows down in here, this is the monthly lows. So we're nowhere near taking that stuff out. On the daily basis, since we have the PMG, you get this nice red continuity, but it's got to keep motorboating through pivots. You'll see short-term exhaustion here at 163.24. So we don't have much more pivots to take out. At that point, we would say anyone that's short TSM, you want to reduce slightly, either by half or slightly more than that. Then we'll see what sets up again. You can see still in force, we got VRSK, CPRT, and the industrials. So VRSK 222 on the month above this, 275.38. I was able to make a small gain on the Qs before taking yesterday's lows. Doesn't mean we can't get short again, but goes inside fiber here. So confirm or negate what we know to be true. Positions from last week, CRM goes inside bar, setting up for tomorrow. So no problems there. SPY still at the morning lows, slight corrective fiber. So 222, 3-minute SPY to get shorts. Still an inside day though. Dow Jones goes 2 down, 15er to start the day with the kicking 60 still in force for another 45 minutes. IBM still a 1, firmed up a little bit. Hughes goes 225er. So second 15 of the day Qs, they're firming it up on the decoupling of the 15-day week month opens, but still inside 15. So how you changing that, right? It's gonna be setting up either inside up or down on the next flip. And when you're still inside, what it tells you is that you're gonna start a new try like this. Which you can see the poke up, the poke down. So how are we getting out of this is our question, right? They're gonna likely be chopping around in this stuff for a little bit. And you see NASDAQ, they break the lows, expansion of the range, and then inside bar. Anything to the upside retracement, as far as I'm concerned, there, right? So we're not really anywhere near reversing unless that goes 15 and up, which, another 13 minutes to set that up. So we're not going to touch it. NVIDIA did, you can see, reclaim that stuff, and that's why personally I'm not a fan of entering on momentum. Now, this equilibrium, they got short, bring it back in on the 2-2. They're trying to stop some of these guys out, and then we'll see if NVIDIA can triangle they out and keep going. Boeing at the lows, you can see still going, no 5 against, no 3-minute against, so still at this point good. And that's a damn shame to miss that this morning, about $5-6 to the lows now. Looks like X is 3-2-5 expansion of the range this morning. Still gap down and buy to start the day. Has not reclaimed any of that range yet, though. It's going to be closer, setting up 30 hammers in about 10 minutes. So TSM, you see how it's inside 15? This is where people get killed. They try and take those shorts there to make low a day, and it's not happening, right? Inside 5 or 15. AAOI is RevStrat 5 122 on the gap list. And it's got about a minute on that 5 minutes, so it's going to be setting up into the next flip to go either continuation and confirm that, or get stuck inside 15 or inside. Unity is kicking, or not kicking, RevStrat 5 the other way, PMG, to try and make a low day potentially. That could be a problem. You see if that kicking pattern, or not kicking, that RevStrat works, boom, boom, boom. You take these guys out, and then maybe they could take the lows out, right? So you see inside, poke up, and then back the previous range. And then we try and take these guys out at 1750. If it did, it would cause gap up and then 2215 back down from exhaustion risk. Boeing still just hitting the lows. It's such a shame to miss the fill on there. Pfizer, it's like they're having some fun in there. Inside tenor going back to the downside. So green to red back down on the day. Some crazy movement. And it's still an inside week down Pfizer, so that is likely to make that low a day because it still has a weekly magnitude. See, SPY killed. So the 2-2-2 3-minute puke. Q is going to go 2-2 back down. What, 3-minute, but it's still inside 15 at this point. Dow, you can see off the 2 down 15. What did that do? Confirm the 60 for control. So puke in the Dow Jones. And IWM also went 2 down 15. So the only thing holding up slightly stronger is Qs right now. But it tells us Qs should make low a day. Because if it's going to be a simultaneous break, they're all going to do it, which means even though Qs is slightly late to it, it's still going to happen. Then the question is, Qs, after low day, it would put the day back in force. So if it can do that, then we'd see the 2-2-2-5er if it can get in force. And it would make the lows and put the day back in force. SPY is still inside day, but trying to race back to the other side of this daily 3 down here, 557.24. So that's still trying to occur. We'll see on the second 30s of the day. Do they confirm or negate? You can see right now SPY goes into short-term 30-minute exhaustion, so they might triangle out slightly there. Boeing's just getting murdered in here. Unity, you can see your RevStrat 5-minute PMG, boom, 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 and then create the winning position, right? Even if it's small, 15 cents, so be it, right? You're risking 5 cents to do that. And break even, if it makes low a day and keeps going, awesome. If not, then so be it. You don't have to risk your money, you risk theirs. AAOI from the RevStrat 5, did we mention that? Reconfirm, we did. I was able to snag some on that continuation. Finally, a slight fill to this morning. So ES is still closer to just going outside day at this point. Slight higher high, slight lower lows back in here. So we prefer to see that happen, right? And the Qs, you can see 2225, they're testing those previous day's lows again. Just got to take out the morning low, and then, you got the 5-minute guys underwater, which could cause some problems here. Give us all these pivots Qs. AAOI, buyers could be too weak to make the morning highs. They do pull back a little bit. They're right green inside 15. So since it's still inside 15, you got to be extremely aware that that 5-minute is the only thing in control to the upside. You got the 30, right? You do have the 60, the day, the week, the month, which are all coupled together at this point. But the fiver, when you're inside 15 here, if that fiver stays green, good. If it flips red, we got a problem. Boom, QQQ, do we talk about that making the morning low? We did. 223-minute in here causes, you can see slight poke up, and 223-minute back down, morning lows. Anyone long here, their stops just got taken out, so they're going to hit the bid. While they're doing that, the inside day down is in force. It has full time frame continuity as well. So we'd like to see QQQ 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gap fill 4, 6, 5, 11, should they keep puking that stuff. On the SPY, still an inside day at this point. On the Dow, still an inside day at this point, relatively stronger. IWM, still an inside day at this point. So it's just the tech, which tells you it's really a lot of that NVIDIA in there, as well as any other semis hitting the lows. So LRCX, you can see in here, getting killed. TSM from the kicking pattern list, still an inside 15, so running positions. We could get an ad on that should that set up. Unity, you can see puke, and there's the morning low, just like we said. AAOI goes inside fiver, inside 15, so just be aware of that. If you have a winning position, which I do, then what we'd want to do is break even that thing. And since it's still green on the 5, it's fine, right? But break even for certain. So you can see Q's your broadening formation. If we were the best trader in the world in here and we were sitting here just looking for the top of the try, what we'd want to have done is this. So we draw that out. And then intraday trading, especially right at this open here, we're looking at intraday continuity. You can see right when this intraday continuity 5-minute goes red, this is where you'd want to be getting short. And then once you get adds to that position in here, so you can see a slight corrective 15er in here, poke up, and the inside oneer or inside 15-second back down, this causes that full intraday continuity lower. Now the question is since we make low a day, that's going to be short-term exhaustion, right? But can we go like this and keep things puke and notice 3-2 down in here to pivot machine gun those guys? Can we stay down there? And we got the inside 5-minute add to reconfirm the trade. That'd be something I want to know about if that goes inside down momentum. So AAOI, you can see still good at this point. Notice that inside oneer broke up, did not make the new high though, so still inside 5. So let's say that one are rev strats. That'd be a little bit of an issue because rev strat during that inside 5, inside 15 would counter what we know with a signal. NVIDIA will be inside bar to confirm its week down, confirm its day down. So that's a third additional signal there. When we look to the semis, those are still taking morning lows. So 2-2 on a Monday, or actually the first day of the week, right? But what you'll notice on the month, much closer to 3-2 down, 2 down month, which you're not going to see in here properly. But last month's lows looked like this. So it starts really red off the gates in the semis, which also tells you XLK you want to know about, right? Inside day down, relatively weak compared to the semis, causing the 2 down week. It also tells you Qs, inside day down, which confirms a simultaneous break, semis, and tech. So we have a lot of evidence to just continue holding that. The only thing we don't have evidence of is the SPY doing that yet, taking out Friday's lows. Come on, load it up, SPY. Yeah, so we do not have SPY doing that yet. The Dow is not doing that, and then IDBM is not doing that. Second 60s of the day will either confirm or negate what we know. So IDBM closer to momentum shooter 60 to cause daily down, right? Cause the inside day PMG. So we'd want to know about that to confirm or negate what's occurring. Same with the 30, since it's going to be opening in 2 minutes, you'll have the Momo 30 there setting up. If you go to SPY, it will be inside fiber. Qs, slight poke down in green, so short-term exhaustion and back into the morning range slightly on the Qs, so we'd want to reduce by half there to cover our butts, but if anything were to be strong, it would probably be the Dow Jones, which is your industrials, and they make the slight lower low in the industrials on the 15. You can see 5-minute hammer back up, so slight poke down industrials to start the month. They could PMG this stuff should the market weaken up, but it firms up right away with a 5-minute hammer. So that tells us things like DE. You can see it might start as a 2260 or will actually be a 3222 back up. CAT. That one's a little bit more killed than the Dow Jones there. If we filter this, it looks like we don't have many industrials staying in force here, so we don't got too much there. We can go directional 2-up month though. It looks like most 2s on the month are in the financial services to open up. Yeah, so you can see XLF, they kind of blew them out in the morning, and then 3225 is trying to set up a 3115. We get a banking ETF, also 3-1, and regional banks, also 3-1. So a lot of 3-1s, 15s to start in the financials there. As we get close to this new flip, TSM inside 15. NVIDIA inside 15, confirm or negate on the gap list. Pfizer inside 15, 2-1, which could confirm a weekly signal on the gap list. AAOI, you can see change in 5-minute continuity right there. So small win, so be it. It's stuck inside 15 to start the morning. Would need to go 2225 or 2 up, 2 down, 2 up, and then take the morning highs for that to look good again. Boeing still getting killed second 30 of the day. 2225 makes morning lows. Qs, you can see still good that down there. 2 down, 2 down, 2 down fiber. So second 30 of the day, does it confirm or negate? It confirms, and you take out an additional pivot target, looking for still 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 ideally. We do get the slight lower low. So here it is on the Qs, slight poke up, slight poke down. There's your try. So notice this is still stuck inside of this stuff. Can we exit that range, or are we going to try and recover and come back through it? We obviously would prefer the downside. Tech is going into daily short-term exhaustion risk at this point with a continuation down 30. So that's not a short on the tech. It's like we don't add short on that. It's actually negating the 30 on the second 30 of the day, firming up. This is the 30 decoupling, so we're gaining evidence when this occurs. SPY did go 2 down 30, right? It was inside oneer. So like Dow Jones still having problems, 2225er. Then IDBM goes, you can see momentum shooter 30 down. That was our only 30 signal on the flip right here. Causes the inside day down, causes pivot machine gun. And when we say go instantly, this is exactly what we mean. You short it, you hit the bid, they continue to hit the bid and throw the next punch. You throw the first one, they throw the next one. You can notice, for those that are a little bit more adapted to the strat, inside oneer causes this broadening formation, causes the trigger. So inside oneer and then hit the bid here with an add, and then you're in and you got this winning position. But you can just do it straight out the 30s as well, right? Looks like AAOI firms up a little bit on the 5 minutes. Still inside 15, inside 30. But green on the gap list and still has a 3-2 up month. Is it? Or 3-2-2? Yeah, 3-2-2 month in force back through monthly range. You can see this is where we call it the flip it and reverse it. So unity breaks it down. You get this nice winning position, right? Two or just under, just about 2%, 2.41. Then you get the hammer right here on the flip, second 30 of the day. This is where you'd flip it long because the 30 changes continuity and changes what you know here on the 30 flip. And either flip long or cover. Depends on what type of trader you are, but that's an example of that, where you can see boom, 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 hits our target magnitude, which we pointed out before that rev strat occurred. And then you flip it long from exhaustion risk, because if this fiver doesn't reverse, it would take out the morning high. Then anyone that is short in unity from last month, maybe they have issues, right? But we are a little stuck inside. Second 15 of the day, second 30 of the day opens as a 1 there. X is kind of drying up a little bit. NVIDIA stuck inside the morning range, goes inside 30. TSM inside 30, so we don't got those bearish chip names really continuing. Qs did a triangle out on the 1 minute, so there's still some selling trying to go on there in the Qs. SPY still getting killed, so you can see bright red. Is that a kicking 60? It is. Boom, right there. You can see down 283. At most, your risk was 32 cents on the kicker. IBM did that 30 momentum shooter set up and then go after the 30 had a flips and occurred? Yes, it did. Is that a PMG? Yes, it is. So you can see how we expect movement from our signals, then we get it because we're back through previous range. Unlike most people who lose with the strat, where they're taking it at recent highs or recent lows, we are back through previous lows. Give us those nice winning positions. And Dow Jones, ouch, kicking 60, goes 2-2-day Dow. So Dow Jones, full time frame continuity down, reclaiming all-time highs. That's a little bit of an issue, right? So we now have more evidence on the downside for all the tech stuff because the rest of the market starts going down. Right now, tech is not really like hitting morning lows, but that does give us more evidence on the downside. So I got stopped out at AAOI for a gain of like 20 something dollars, and that's what a losing position looks like. You stop out for a gain. Don't we love to see that? So SPY makes a slight lower low to yesterday's range, which does mean we're at the bottom of the broadening formation. But what we have to understand is we are nowhere near changing that daily continuity. So although your try looks like this, SPY, we'll do a 60. We are nowhere near changing this out, right? So we'd actually, when we change this, that's the daily try. So we call it the sub try. We have a major try or a bigger one that looks like this. It's a slight lower low. This is a higher low, right? So this got stuck inside. Chop, 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 chop. Stuck inside again. Polka up. Back through previous range kicking pattern. Takes these guys out. Now we might get some slight triangle day out. Maybe an inside 30 or something. Stop them out. But we'd actually just prefer this keeps going, right? So if it doesn't reverse, it's still going down. It goes, you can see fivers all the way down. Inside 5 down. Inside 5 setting up again to go momentum. When we go to Qs, that's a 3-1 setting up. So we'll see. Dow Jones obviously has the day down at this point. And IBM with the inside day off the 30-minute momentum shooter has just shyly missed its 216.27 pivot. We'd like to see that taken out still, a penny below that. So 216.16, give us that. Or no, 216.26. And you can see your broadening formation on the IBM. So we'd prefer we can get some expansion of this range down into here, make it a little bigger. NVIDIA could go 3-2-5 minute to cause inside 15 down, confirming inside day, confirming a weekly 3-2 expansion. And next pivot, NVIDIA is down here on the weekly, 106.32. On the daily, we don't really have much besides a 111.58. So you can take that out. Use this to make low a day and take this stuff out, and then we don't know. Qs, you can see it's just going back to the lows after that one or triangle layout. Still inside 5 at this point, though. AAOI does firm it back up a little bit. So red to green move on the 15 just now pretty quickly. It shows you right away that 5-minute group that shorted maybe stops at the morning highs. They are underwater pretty much right here. And then Unity, you can see still ripping it back through that morning range. 2-2 RevStrat 10-minute Unity on the gap list. SPY, Pukes, low a day. Qs, low a day again. Still has the day in force Qs. Do have an outside fiver down there, so won't mind that. IDBM still at the lows inside fiver. Dow Jones still at the lows inside fiver. So nice kicking 60s to start the new month, everybody. Hopefully you see how that works. So when I mentioned something like Unity, we talk about stops. A lot of people, when they learn the strat, they think the stop, because we do this sometimes, but they think the stop goes way down here. It does not. When you have a rev strat, especially if we have full time frame continuity, which at this point we do, we just lack evidence because the decoupling hasn't occurred. But right above 1788, you take the offer, right? And your stop goes right here, just below that break of that rev strat. So we can use that daily open here, 1784. Because when a rev strat occurs, this seller into the lows, they just got countered by a more aggressive buyer on the flip, right? So at this point, now the day, week, month, 60, 30s, all that's green now. So when we look at continuity, you see in here, notice everything just changed right there. And this is the thing when you're trading at the beginning of the month or the week or the day, is continuity can change very quick, but that can also be useful because when a reversal occurs on the flip, like a 30 or 60 flip, you can change that continuity really quick, right? So we can cause a lot of big losing traders. So we'll see if that stays above there or not. It looks like the financials, we mentioned those 3 ones, they all broke inside down, confirming direction of the rest of the market. We didn't have much to trade there that we pointed out so much. But JP Morgan goes 322 on the new month open. Opens as a 1 on the week, the day, or no, 1 on the week and month, but 322 on the day. Goldman Sachs, ooh, we missed out on that one. Look at that, 2-2 week, daily PMG. It should be super obvious how this stuff is moving and why. Once you know what we know, it's very obvious. If we go to Citigroup, is a 2-2. It could still PMG, kind of like Goldman Sachs did, but we'd like to see new setups for them. Dow Jones still at the lows. Inside fiver could go inside up or down. Same with IDBM. Inside fiver to the flip here. New 5 minutes, or new 5-minute signals. NVIDIA on the 15 just going to be a loss there. 3-2 down. Does not stay down outside that 3. And that doesn't keep the 15 down. Inside on TSM on the gap list, kicking day in force. Still doesn't have a big magnitude or anything, but it's red in the chips to start. LRCX, very red. Full time from continuity down in there to start as well. We got AMAT, very red as well. When we look at where they're buying staples, which is defensive. They're still, sitting on the bid in the utilities, so that's more defensive sector. We got energies. Energies also had the kicking pattern day. So you can see it takes them all out. Boom. If we go to XOP, boom, right? OIH, boom. It takes them all out. So getting killed in the energy is still there, which is interesting. OIH puts the quarterly back in force today. So we'll see this. Boom, boom, boom. Very interesting. That could get a lot worse for those guys. And that defensive posturing of the staples and utilities just tells you that tech and major tech and specifically more, I guess, risky investments is not what they're looking for. They're looking for the defensive stuff, where utilities and staples, they're not going anywhere. People have to eat. People got to have energy to their homes. So it's just a very, very defensive posturing market that we can see to start the new month so far. And when the SPY and everything starts full time from continuity down like this, normally if we look to the VIX will be flying higher. So you'll see this on the VIX. They've completed the daily broadening formation. We probably should have pointed this out in the morning here, but kicking VIX, right? Boom. All the volatility short traders here and here, they're short and blown out. Boom. If we go to the week, inside week up in the VIX, that's something we'd want to know about, because if that stays the case, that's a little bit of an issue for anyone trading the SPY, right? So we can see when full time frame continuity occurs indexes, that's what causes buying in the VIX. Super cool. And while this is occurring, we can also pick out the natural buying, which is like the staples utilities, where whole market's continuity down, well, those are not. Then anything full time from continuity up, two to the upside today, is also going to be natural buying that we can pick out on or pick up on. And what we can do is sort by spread or by market cap. I like the market cap. And we can start making that list up here. SPY still at the lows, Q still at the lows, IBM just murdered, still needs that penny lower, 216.26, then potentially cover or defend position. So Verizon and communication services, biotechs starting taking at last month's highs. They're coming back in right now, so we'll see. Lockheed Martin, that could be a nice 3260 with a inside 30 to the next flip to go PMG day. We'll see. AbbVie, you can see starts really strong off on the month here. Very strong in there. ABT in the healthcares also starts off pretty strong in here. J&J starts off pretty strong. So we can see the rotation more so into the healthcare sector, which did we pick up on that in 2023? We did. Let's see, very nice. 15% in just the XLV. But yeah, and then there's Guild. So Guild's coming back through as well, and then ELV. Looks like it's going to recent highs. So a lot of exhaustion risk stuff on that. Doesn't mean it can't work, but be aware of that. And UNH also going to recent highs. So when they are rotating into something like that, what it tells us is this is not a market crash. Doesn't mean it has to reverse, right? But tells us this isn't market crash. They're still trying to rotate into defensive plus healthcares. So that is perfectly fine thing to be doing, right? It's like NVIDIA did get the re-break and I actually just held that position. I was kind of did not care. It came back a little bit. That being said, though, they make low day exhaustion risk. So we'll see if the tech and the semis can keep it puking. Notice they're still going after the second 30 of the day, new 15s, which is the last 15 of the day. So this is where if we're going to see profit taking, we do it there. But everything's so red, we want to stay short, right? There's no reason to really get out, ideally. CRM is a 32230, confirming what we did last week on the gap sell, but still inside day. You see the video right here, the last 15 of 30, slight profit taking here. The reason that happens is because you'll open, you'll make the high, then you'll drop it all the way down, and then you'll make a low, and then you'll close. So towards the end of any bright red or bright green bar, that's when your continuity is getting close to exhaustion, right? Where this 60 continuity is going to be gone. So you can see right now the 60, this intraday guy, really aggressive seller for sure. But right when the new 60 opens, it could look like this, or it's slightly green. So this is where profit taking normally occurs. Does not mean we have to do it unless it reverses, but we'll be aware of that. And what we'd say is Qs, how are you going to reverse that? You're just nowhere near. At best, you go inside 60 and firm up. Dow Jones, how the heck in the world are you going to reverse that? And where are you going, Dow Jones? Well, you got pivot here, pivots here and here. So Dow Jones could have some issues later today with that daily in-force signal back through that 3, right? And it has issues right now. You go to IBM. Did you get a penny lower? You did. There it is, 216.26. Did we know? We did. And we talked about that prior to the open. Gave you the 30 momentum to do that, right? So hopefully you guys are seeing how this works with the strap. And we can now draw right to left like so if we would like, since the new low has been made. Or you can wait for that 30 to close and then draw. But for now, we'll just redo it like that. So nice little trade there to start the day. Now the question is, do they keep puking on the second 60 of the day, decoupling in 14 minutes? Of the 60 and the week / day and / month opens, or does the second 60 give us new evidence and they start buying? Since healthcares were already going up, and if we go to staples, those are already going up, tells us they are already buying. So the flip could firm things up really quickly, and that's something we'll just want to be aware of. Semis are still at the lows, Qs is still at the lows, Dow Jones still kind of at the lows, IBM at the lows, SPY at the lows. So we don't really see that yet, but we will see, right? NVIDIA looks like it's 2 down again. 15er, slight green to red move. X will be closer to a gap down by 2260. And what we'd be looking for is to reclaim So whenever you get a gapper, we're looking for exhaustion risk at levels of reclaim. We'd like this 2-2 to cause the reclaim of this to cause it to come back through this. And it's a 3-2-2. So you do have a magnitude up into this on the 60 basis, which would be pretty big, yeah? Boeing still getting hit, so you can see just, sometimes it happens like this, so be it. But really amazing stuff right there on the green to red move. There's your $7 on Boeing right off of your weekly signal, right? And that's what we do with the gappers. If you're shorting a gap down or you have the expectation to do that, which we did, you let it go green, and then when it flips red, that's your first time to hit it. And then any additional signals to add. Unity is going to go inside 15 minutes up, I believe. Forgive me, it's kind of lagging out here. Do, do, do. But I guess while it's kind of sitting here, this is just to show you guys kind of what the morning can look like here. We got on only 10 minutes before the opening. Didn't do any of my analysis until the opening, and we were looking at all the gappers, right? So we did all that. We looked at the indexes. We kind of had a plan going into the day. And then you go in and you just let the signals form, and you just hit them, hit them, hit them on the things you have expectation of movement for. So that is pretty much all the strat is you line up those bigger time frames, and then you get to those lower ones and you start hitting them to create winning positions. So when you're doing that, you have to become a winning trader. Like, you have to see at this point you get winning trades because you're trading in the direction of continuity and you're trading in the direction of the weekly, daily, 60-minute directional bars. And that's what a winning trade looks like. So if we just look for that condition, we know exactly what we're looking for at that point. That being said, though, we are kind of lagging out for some reason here. Hopefully we can see that fixed on Trading View. Not 100% certain here, so just give me a sec. Not really certain what's going on with Trading View here. It does look like Q's is hitting lows just based on my P&L here. But I guess we'll see. Does this load up? Maybe their servers are having some issues right now. We can't switch over to Thinkorswim. It's just a little bit laggy because I have not restarted it recently. So I'm going to start doing that while we wait here. And this is why the great thing about break-even stops is once you get them in, even if things like this do occur, we're not stressed out. Like, you can tell this whole morning, we're not like, we're not freaking out, right? There's no reason to. Maybe get a little frustrated. I get frustrated when my charts start. I'm like, Trading View, I just want to like strangle it a little bit, but don't let myself do that. So we'll try and get Thinkorswim up in here and running. I'm going to turn off my display just so I can keep my stuff here. And since we're going into the 60 flip, it's a little bit not nerve-wracking as far as losing, but understanding when to reduce if that 60 flip occurs. We got 9 minutes still, so I don't have to worry about it unless this takes 9 minutes to set up here. Should be a shame. And there's a chance it's my network correction or connection. I'm not 100% certain. Looks like TradingView just firmed up a little bit. So you see Qs at this point, just knowing you're reversing. It may start as a 1 though, so be aware of that. Dow Jones, exhaustion risk still 3225 are off the lows. So what you could do is just reduce, and then we'll see. Knowing you're reversing that stuff. IBM, same thing. Could still stay in that for now. The semis still at the lows. Look at that crater, and you can see this 2-2 day just killed them. Nvidia being the biggest semi, they're still sitting at the lows. So we'll see on the next 60 flip that's going to keep going or not. There is no signals, so we'll lack signals here. But the important thing to know is when you have these higher time frame signals, you get the day and the week 3-2 expansion. If the 60 goes 2 down, the day is back in control, so that signal is still occurring, right? And the week 3-2 is still occurring if it's 2 down 60. So we'll get signal exhaustion intraday, which could cause a what we'd call that is a I'm forgetting the words here. We would call that a position that is crowded, potentially off the morning, because if you're an EMA guy, you're short, right? If you're an SMA guy, you're short. If you're trading structure or something, you're short, right? Everyone's short. And we know that based on continuity. Right now, opening the new month, the weekday 60, all that, everyone's short to start. So there's a chance we get the triangle day out where they stop some of these tight stop guys out without changing daily continuity. And then if that were to occur on the 60 flip, you take all these guys out and the 60 would be bright green. So we'll see on this next 60 what happens here. On the Qs, they do firm up, so that'd be the first reason to reduce. The other thing is when it comes to starting the new week, normally I go in there smaller just because there's no reason to chase things. Like if Qs, it's gonna be down 20% this month or something. We've got all month to go after that at this point. Right now, we still want to see that next daily pivot though. We go to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is already an outside day, so we'll be aware of that, but you can see the broad information still expanding, still getting bigger. So the fivers in here and just kind of grinding it down into the lows. We go to the YM. You can see with that inside day down on the futures, potentially calling the top after the slight penny higher. So this is your daily trend. The change in continuity occurred this morning or overnight. So we'll see if that continues to confirm later this week, but we don't have to be all in short, right? You create that winning position in the morning on the kicking 60, and then we'll see. Tomorrow, if it's 2 down again, we could add to it, or even later today if there's new signals. And let me make sure we get this in here. So AAOI does have the double inside 15 up, sets up the 30 momentum, and we prefer not to enter on that stuff. This is where the RevStrap 5er entry, since we were late to that, this is why you get the stop out, or maybe you partial half and you can widen that depending on what you did. But the RevStrap 5er, you can see it stays good. So this is why we want to take our signals. We don't want to wait for confirmation. There's no confirmation on signals. It's just it is or is not in force, right? So this 2 up does confirm it, it reconfirms it, which is why we can enter it, but we don't want to wait for that. We want to enter it here and then add when it confirms. So we just don't see that here. Last fiver of the 60 is occurring. It looks like we're lagging a little bit on the Qs here. So I'm going to start getting the Thinkorswim up. And on Thinkorswim, I can show you guys kind of what we look at during the day as well. And I really wish I got that Boeing filled. That was like the main thing I wanted to get filled because then we'd have like, couple $1,000 P&L. But, not every day are you going to get everything good. And that's the beauty in the strat though, is there's always another one, right? There's no reason to really fret that stuff. But what we will see is NVIDIA. For now, firms up, 2 down in green, 15 after low day exhaustion. So again, we'll see if they can triangle day out, getting us that slight higher high. And then Unity, we want to be aware if that rev strat's the 15 on the flip, then that's a flip short if we are long. And it looks like CRM still just chopping an inside day at this point. You see Qs, they firm it up at the lows at this point. So 225er to reduce, and now the next 60 flip, what will we be closer to doing is our question. Be closer to a 2215 up, still that would not negate the day, but on the 60 flip, it would firm it up inside 60. So we'd want to go after anything 2 up in the tech right after the morning, because if you're short tech, you're getting what you want, percent down. But anything that goes 2 up 60 after like 2 down or like a 2-2 to the upside, that is where you're going to have full time frame continuity up, and all these shorts are getting obliterated. And anything already going up, maybe something like Adobe, could keep going. So we can scan in the tech. We can say, well, who's full time frame continuity up? This is where the natural buying is occurring, or anyone that's short is going to have issues. And we can do this just on a 60 basis and just say full time frame continuity up. Oh. Looks like I got signed out of this. There it is. We can go full time frame continuity up, bullish like this, and we can go tech. We can do it on really any time frame since they're all the same open right now. We can see a lot of tech, right? All this stuff full time frame continuity up. So this is where we'd want to be as far as any buys are concerned. And if we go to the 30, we can look for inside 30s because they're going to be relatively strong. So Adobe, IBM, MongoDB, U, which is on the gap list here. and that type of stuff. So we'd like to know about that. And normally what I'll do is I'll have this on my other screen here. Still holding the shorts cues because for now the 60 you're just nowhere near reversing that at that point. IDBM you can see still just right at the low, so relatively weak. And why is it relatively weak? Well, the momentum shooter caused it to go really red right in here on the second 30 of the day, confirming what we know. And since it's staying at the lows, you can see on the 15 basis, it's not coming back at all like anything else. It's gonna be relatively weak. And on the SPY, or on the 5, I mean, 132 setting up into the flip, which would be an add to the position on the 30 down at the lows if we wanted to. It's momentum, so we don't look to enter on that, but adding on that's fine. And the next pivot target down here on IDBM, 214.79, and maybe they come back through all this stuff, which could be big issues for IDBM today, back into this gap down in here. So you'll notice we get some short-term exhaustion, 216.27. But if it stays below that, then the seller is stepping up and hitting the bid. So we stay short, given it has not reversed. And then if it continues, we can continue to add because the range is getting bigger. Down into 214.79 would be the next look that we're looking for. So we'll have to see on the flip how many things are confirming. And if they do start negating, going inside green or anything like that, we go after in-force 30s or 60s to the upside. So that is going to be the plan on the flip. And if I could scan prior to the flip, we would do that, but we can't really do that besides scanning current candle 01. So we will see. You'll see NVIDIA still kind of just grinding at the lows at this point. TSM, you see just hitting the lows. And notice your inside 15 mentioned TSM. This is your measured move. 2, 1, 2 keeps going. And this would be the add if you get this daily PMG in the morning. Again, I did not get the fill there. I need an assistant. So if you're looking for a job, hit me up. But that inside 15 gets you in. And now the question is, you get this big, I guess, bigger magnitude to go after. Are they weak enough to stay down on the second 60? They're super red. So if it goes 2 down like it just did, they're still hitting the bid on the second 60. It's the only way that happens. So sellers still in control, second 60 of the day TSM, giving you the weekly down, 2-week pattern, still going down, day pattern still in force inside down. So they're still in control down on TSM. Notice NVIDIA slightly different. It goes inside to start. It's red, so the seller's still here. We just need to see them make low a day to give control back to the sellers on the 60 basis. It goes 225 to start the new 60. So you can see each 60 confirms or negates. They're bright red to start the day, and then this 225 is trying to reconfirm it. But after low a day, we'd have short-term exhaustion, so we'd have to see. SPY 2-2 on the new 60, so right there is a potential add. Same with the Qs, still inside though. And IDBM still inside, so we will see, but nowhere near reversing any of that stuff at this point. Then Unity does go rev strat. It could counter that, so we'll see. You have the inside 30 Unity to worry about. And you can see on a 5 basis, it rev strats the 15, but if it were to fall out of force on the 15, this 5-minute broadening formation poke down and then try and poke back up would cause 30 in force, which would cause high a day. So this, you can see on the second oneer here, it was 2-2 oneer, and it's trying to do that. We'll see. Boeing inside 15 down add right here, and that's a measured move of this. So you can see they drop it 759. If they're going to drop it another $8, it would look like that measured move add to the short. And Boeing, where's it going? A little bit of a rhyme there. Well, Boeing, they were too weak to take these highs out. So we'd look to take out the new lows here, and that would exit us out of the yearly mother bar. So Boeing having a big problem to start the month. We go to the monthly here. It's going to be screwed up because of trading view, but let's just say a 2-month chart to get this looking better. 2-month 3-2 on Boeing. That's a big issue. That's expansion of the range. So we want to definitely stay short that with running positions and try and continue to add should this 15er work. And we just risk 30 cents. So you can see up in here, you're up $7. You add to it risking 30 cents of their money, right? So you're risking nothing. And you can add to it and maybe double, triple your position size just right there. And if it works, make a lot more money. SPY, second 60, reconfirms what we know to be true. 3-2 reversal SPY. Where are you going? Down there. And you'll see the daily pivots are going to cause a lot of losing traders this morning here, down into 553.86. And notice the 5-minute has to go 2-2 here to confirm what we know to be true right there to enter short or to reconfirm and add to short positions. We go to the Qs. Qs, there's your 225er. Boom, takes out your daily pivot. Did we talk about 467.89? We did. You got your penny lower. Good. And Q's is still confirming 2 down reversal that occurred last week. So we'd like to gap fill as well. 465.11 is the next pivot Q's. When we go to Unity RevStrat 15 is still occurring, so let's get change what we know there, and I'm going to be stopped out. Looks like maybe a slight loss, I'm not sure. So be it. It was like a $70 position, so it wasn't that much. I was waiting for that 15 to set up. It just didn't. So I lost $8 there, which is like nothing, right? On Q's, I'm up just under 350 bucks with only 2 contracts. So it's just proof you don't need that much to make money. And then on CRM, which I'm short from last week, it is closer to 32260 back down, maybe an add. So we'll see. And then on NVIDIA, controls back to the sellers again, just like the Qs. So your broad information looks like this, NVIDIA. Now we're going into that exhaustion again. So it's got to stay down and out of that, or else this is where we'd expect. You can see the lower low, the lower low, lower low. And if it were to 2-2 and negate the 60 continuity, we would come back through all these guys. So it's got to stay down there. Don't want to stick around if it doesn't. But amazing stuff to start the day. Boeing specifically, just amazing. I wish I could get that fill in the morning. So be it. And then on the gap ups, Unity with the RevStrat down, that's the only thing giving signals here. Maybe SHLS on the gap up sell, trying to go outside month here off the inside 30 for the small account guys below 644. We get a PFE stuck inside. So really just not too much to do there. Obviously Boeing, nice add there for that stuff. NVIDIA still at the lows. TSM still just smacking the lows. Looks like a little bit of short-term exhaustion, but we'll see. So not too bad, boys and girls, to start the morning. And that is, it's not going to be it for the day as far as I'm concerned, but there's not too much else I want to add to this video here. I showed you guys how we do our analysis in the morning, how we talk about green to red moves and red to green moves instantly on the gap list, then how we look to add to the gap list names, such as the Boeing inside 15, and then also how we can get in there on the Qs and stuff using lower time frame triangle layouts, such as, see that 3-minute slight poke up and then 2-2 here, as well as the 5 here on the 60 flip, confirming what we know to be true about the daily signal. So there's a lot of good examples of what we do here, and the best examples are going to be things like the pivot machine gun TSM, where we get our pivot machine gun plus a daily signal where anyone that bought Monday, problems. Anyone that bought last week, we cause them to have problems. And then they continue to have those problems should the market stay down there. And NVIDIA as well, right? They're going to have issues. They're taking last week's lows, whereas things like SPY are not yet. They're trying to. So we're going to expect potentially a 2-2 week to start the week SPY. And, Dow Jones, same thing. It's still down at the lows, so they're trying to do that. And IDBM, still at the lows as well, showing you how to use the 30-minute momentum to trigger the daily signal to cause losing participants, and they go instantly using really tight stops so we don't have to risk our money. Once we have the position, we can risk their money with ads. So really great examples of what the strat is all about. And now that we have these winning positions, fuck it. We can do whatever we want. We can hold it, we can add to it, we can reduce it, but we got the rest of the day, the rest of the week, rest of the month. Hey everybody, so I'm just adding this in towards the end. I forgot to show it, I guess, right at the end of that video, but this is just going to show you an example of my P&L here. I'm screenshotting it, so this is coming straight from my account. But you're going to see we have some Qs puts, which was the main thing I was looking to short. We got CRM. This is a running position from last week. Then NVIDIA, I was able to get the fill on that 15er. And this is just showing that I can't fill everything, right? So like Boeing, I did not get the fill. That probably would have been over $1,000 just off of that really easily. So during the day, my whole thing is that I get everyone else in winning positions and I do my best to get myself in those, but everyone at Stat Trading comes first. And this example stream or recording is exactly what a live stream at Stat looks like. So if you're interested in something like this, we have the boot camp, which starts today. I'm not sure if we're still accepting people, but boot camp starts today. We're going to teach everyone the strat, and then we have these streams that go Tuesday through Friday. Every day of the week. So if you're interested in something like that, go and check out stratalerts.com to learn more. But that's going to be about it. So hopefully you guys can see what can be done, and I'll see you guys in the next video.